Hi, friends. Welcome back to Just Call Me Viv. I'm Viv, your host. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about tearing up that type checklist. It's part of our second act romance series. And this is where I'm wrapping up this particular series on getting yourself out there into the dating world, especially if you're in your late 40s, in midlife, at your midpoint, and you're braving on. So I want you to catch the first few episodes so that you can catch up. But today we're going to talk about types, right? The type that we have. And let's be honest, do you have a type? Because most of us do. And for some women, it's the tall guy with the great smile. For others, it's the funny one who knows how to work a room. He's charming, he's endearing. Or maybe it's the mysterious creative dreamer who plays guitar and has a complicated life or past. Ladies, we've all gone through our tortured artist phase, right? Do you remember Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You? I'm dating myself, but that was a great film. But like a broody, starving artist. And trust me, we all have this mental checklist, even if we don't admit it. But here's the catch. Sometimes our type isn't really our match. Sometimes our type is just a pattern that we continue to repeat. And patterns, ladies, they're comfortable, they're familiar. Our brain loves predictability because it keeps us safe, I should say. And often that's the very thing that keeps us stuck in the same place, dating the same type of guy that leads to the same outcome or results. And I've seen this in myself and in my friends, and maybe you've seen it too, because you say to yourself, maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe this guy will be different. And then, nope, it's the same type of guy, just with a different haircut or maybe a different outfit. Maybe you have a penchant for the fixer-upper guy. You want to be his therapist. He's literally the man that you need a construction crew to rebuild. But you tell yourself, love will be enough. I can fix him. I can put him back together. Or maybe it's the guy that looks perfect. He's perfecto on paper. But in real life, he cannot commit to a lease, let alone a relationship. He's the one who's going to string you along and he's going to breadcrumb you. Or maybe it's the life of the party. He's exciting, but he also keeps you guessing where he is after 10 p.m., right? And how about the guy who only texts you after midnight with a what you doing? You know what he wants, and it's not commitment. He doesn't want to be seen in the day with you. He only wants to come at night because he wants the cookie. Or it's the guy who always forgets his wallet or never has any money, and you're the one footing the bill. I've named a few types. Whatever the type is, does any of it sound familiar? And if it does, it's because you continue to repeat the same patterns. And here's the thing about patterns, just like habits, especially if they're bad habits, they can be broken. And sometimes that means giving yourself permission to date outside of your type. And I want to delve deeper into this because it's not just the types that I mentioned, which are more behavioral, but again, because it's sometimes not just about personality, it's about who we think we're supposed to be with. Sometimes we grow up in families that encourage us to date within our race or our culture because that's all we've known, or that feels safe, or that's how it's supposed to be or should be. And I'm going to be real with you. For years, I told myself that I'd only date within my culture. I happen to be Puerto Rican, and I thought that it was just makes sense to date either another Puerto Rican or Latino man, and more specifically Caribeño. And I know plenty of women who do the same. If you're Latina, maybe you're only dating Latino men. If you're Asian, maybe you only date Asian men. If you're Black, maybe you only date Black partners. But here's what the research shows, and I like data, I like research. Um, Research and lived experience, I should say, tells us that the success of a relationship has way less to do with whether you share a background or culture, and way more to do with how you treat each other in a relationship. So, one study that I came across looked at over 200 couples, both same race and interracial. And you know what the biggest predictor of happiness was? Take a moment. It was not race, not shared culture, but it actually was responsiveness. So basically, what that means is, does your partner make you feel heard, understood, or cared for? And that holds true across the board. It didn't matter if it was a Black couple, a Black and white couple, an Asian and Latino couple. The happiest ones were the ones whose partners showed up for each other, period. And I want you to think about that for a second. The secret ingredient isn't sameness, it's support. So whether you share the same culture or not, the same race or not, it's about whether that person shows up for you, provides support for you. Let's get to the fun part. Dating outside your type doesn't just break the pattern, it can also surprise you. So maybe you're a high-powered, independent woman who's been running the show for years, and you've had to do it all: raise the children, pay the bills, fix the faucet, build IKEA furniture with only an Allen wrench and tears. And you've been strong because you've had no choice. Does that sound familiar? She sounds familiar because she is me. But what if your match is the man who lets you be soft, the man who takes joy in showing up for you, who checks your tires, pumps your gas, makes sure your windshield wipers aren't flapping like broken wings? Or maybe it's the nerdy guy who actually reads the instructions before putting together the bookshelf, or the blue collar guy who knows how to wire a ceiling fan without watching a YouTube tutorial. I think it's sexy when a man can fix stuff. I really do. It's endearing. And let me say this clearly. Let me say this clearly. I want the man who's a little obsessed with me. Not in the Netflix documentary way, though, but in the he can't believe he gets to be with me kind of way. I want the kind of love that makes me feel safe, cared for, and cherished. That man, he might not look like the guy I pictured when I was 20. He might not check the old boxes. But maybe, I don't know, he's the man who actually fits my life now. So what does this mean for us? It means maybe it's time to tear up the checklist, because here's what the research and my own heart. Remember, I'm a licensed therapist and attorney, so I'm giving you sage advice from someone who's lived for a long time, but I feel young at heart. So this is what my heart and what I've researched actually tell me, is that the happiest couples aren't the ones who look like the perfect couple on paper. They're actually the ones who make each other feel supported and understood. The strongest relationships aren't the ones that erase differences, but the ones that embrace them with curiosity and respect. And whether your partner looks like you, talks like you, or grew up like you, none of that matters if you don't feel safe, loved, and seen. So maybe your type isn't tall, dark, and handsome. Maybe it's shows up, pumps my gas, and loves me out loud. That's the one I want. Maybe the love you've been waiting for isn't the one you pictured, but the one that makes you feel like the most important person in the room. And that's the perfect place to wrap up this dating series, because tearing up that checklist isn't about love, it's about life, it's about reinvention. And that's where we're headed next. My next series is all about midlife reinvention, how to start fresh, not just in relationships, but in who we are, what we want, and the kind of lives that we're ready to build. So stay with me, because the next chapter is going to be so good. Thank you for listening, friends. Until next time, remember, the best story might not be the one you've been repeating. It might be the one that you've yet to write. If you've liked today's podcast, please like and subscribe. Share it with a friend. Until next time, take care.